Hello everybody and welcome back to the chassis variant series of myself, Critical Rocket. We're back again with the second Executioner build. This is the hotel variant of the rather ugly looking 95-ton assault mech from the old Clanks, or the Clowns, or just the Clans as most people tend to call them. Also known as the Gladiator. I'm not really sure which name I prefer out of the two. I think they're perfectly fine. I think I actually lean more toward Executioner. Anyway. So, the hotel variant, as we know with, if you've been following the series, the hotel of nearly every clan mech involves some kind of heavy weapon. I'm assuming that's why the H is in there. This one has a single heavy large, backed up by a Ultra 20, and has two ER mediums, and of all things, a flamer. Now, flamers, obviously, in MechWarrior Online, generally only work as something in a group of, I think a minimum of two, will start to really spike heat. But a single flamer is kind of superfluous. Again, in universe, the flamer is really good as an anti-infantry weapon. It's good against battle armor. It's good against light-skinned vehicles as well. Keeps them back. Nobody wants to be on fire. And in really desperate situations, obviously, a flamer can work well enough to be able to cause a mech to overheat, or at least deter certain mechs from getting too close if they're damaged. But that's it. The main punch of this mech is obviously its two arm-mounted weapons, the Ultra 20 and the Heavy Large. And unfortunately, due to MechWarrior Online's sort of mechanics, the Ultra 20 is kind of gimped. A lot of us have known, if you've experienced Ultras, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you can click and click and click and it's fine, the weapon will keep firing. And other times you click once and it jams, which I'm pretty sure isn't how an Ultra is supposed to work. The idea is supposed to be that it will jam with repeated fire, and I know the rule is supposed to be that you can double tap the weapon and then you have to make a roll, but PGI, I guess for balance sake, or just to nerf the weapon because it's an Ultra 20, decided to massively increase the rate at which the weapon jams up, which can knock the weapon out for a good 15-20 seconds at a time. It's pretty bad. This leaves you with your other big punch, which is your Heavy Large, which is fine, except it has a tendency to obviously recharge for a long time, which means the mech can actually be out of both of its main weapons for several crucial seconds, leaving you with just a pair of ER mediums and the flamer. Not great. This build, unfortunately, I don't think translates very well into MWO. On tabletop, this thing would actually be quite deadly, combined with its mask capability that all executioners have, and its jump jets. It's a rather nasty flanking 95-tonner. You don't want to be caught out by this thing, but MechWarrior Online, it just gets left out in the cold, unfortunately. You don't see a lot of executioners. I think it's a combination of its height, it is very tall, combined with the fact that for its weight, it doesn't really have enough hard points, really, to make it viable compared to other 90 or 95 tonners in the game currently. I mean, a Banshee, for instance, can take more firepower. Sure, it can't run as quickly, and it doesn't have jump jets, but you can have a Banshee that boats just so many weapons. And I have to admit that the only way I got this footage was because good old PGI's disconnects ratio. Uncle Totty was on the other team, and unfortunately for poor Uncle Totty, his team had two of them, and this gave my team a rather heavy advantage. Psychocop was on my team. I haven't seen Psychocop for a long time, so if you're watching, hello Psycho, hello Totty. It's not. This variant is not one I'd recommend, unfortunately. It's just, it looks great on paper. It looks like you can just get in there, like go nice and tanky with the Ultra 20 and the heavy laser, but it just can't do it. Heat-wise, it's not too bad either. You can fire both the Ultra and the Heavy Large a bunch of times before you'll get close to the red line. It's also very strictly a medium-range combatant. Range is not its friend. It's doesn't work well. As soon as this map popped up, I thought, well, there we go. I hope the enemy team comes close to me because I'm not going to be able to do much. But yeah, it's not great, unfortunately. The Executioner is one of those maligned builds. And to go back on another point, that I didn't bring up in the first video, I originally said, I think in the last in this film on the 75 tonners, that I'd be doing the 85 tonners and the like. But looking at it, Warhawk's got nothing. Unfortunately, there are other variants, but none of the Omnipods work out to allow you to build it. And that is the same with the Marauder 2C. Just can't build any of them, either because there are weapon systems that are on those, sort of hag rifles, plasma cannons, that kind of thing, or they need ECM suites, for instance, which are just things that just never appeared, so kind of stuffed in that regard. It's a bit of a shame. I would have loved to have done the Warhawks, giving them another run out there, and the Marauder 2Cs. But yeah, so we ended up jumping straight to 90 and 95 tonners. So yeah, it's gonna be direwolves after this, which is quite a leap. It's direwolves and Kodiaks, and that's it. That's the clan side of the chassis variant series done. Yeah, it's been quite an undertaking. A lot of different videos of varying quality from bad to worse. I imagine it's certainly a quality standard that I've aimed to keep to. Not been trying to push the boundaries too much. Let's not go mad. Let's not go mad. And yeah, it's been good. It's been good. It's been seen like the slight increase as the viewing figures have gone up over the years for the old chassis series vids. Obviously there'll be a couple of post-finish ones to do. There's a Vulture Delta, and there is the Marauder 2R. So there will be a couple more after the 100 tonners are done on the Innisphere side as well, on the clan side. And yeah, I mean maybe I'll find something else to do video wise. I'll try and theme it around BattleTech. I'm not quite sure what that would be video wise. I mean, maybe just playing games of I don't know, MechWarrior, just maybe keeping the match that I found was the most interesting, but I don't really know, narration wise, can't really think about that. I don't think what would be massively interesting. Obviously I don't want to jump to doing custom variants. I mean, there's a lot of other people who do custom variant videos a lot better than myself, and I don't think I'd really be bringing anything new to the table. The best you could do custom variants are pretty much all the same thing, aren't they, really? It's, this mech's good at boating, ballistics, this mech's good at boating pulse lasers, so yeah, not really a hell of a lot I can do interesting there. With no new mechs coming into MechWarrior Online, and can't really do any sort of in-game lore warriors anymore. They're all done and dusted. Oh, if you wonder what's going on in this part of the match, the last guy is a stealth armor commando with all SRMs who is currently running up to the very edge of the map. Where I'm looking now, he's running up to the mountain side of the edge of the map. I think he's been chased by a spider and something else. It's just one of those things, where the person's just like, well, fuck it, I'm going to make him run. So I just gave up at one point. I think I just ended up recording the stick figures, I think I mentioned in the chat, just stick figures on the side of a mountain shooting each other. So yeah, when we get to the end of it, so I wouldn't recommend the Executioner Hotel. Interesting idea, doesn't translate very well to MechWarrior Online. I'd recommend some of the others, to be honest. The Executioner F, I think, was a much better fit. And even though that is undergunned as well for its tonnage, but it was a bit more effective than this version, I think, just because of the sort of in-game mechanics that kind of limit it. But yeah, either way, as you can see, stick figures running around up there on a hillside. I understand why the commander pilot did it. I don't blame him at all. So he just charged up there, hanging around, little bugger. There we go. I think. Oh no, he kills one of the lights. To be fair to him, he gets one of them, and I think he gets killed. I can't remember if he runs out of bounds. No, there we go. Someone killed him. That was the end of the round. So thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope you all have a good week as we get ever closer to the end of the chassis variant series. And until then, see you next time. Bye bye.